Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am, and you aren't. How you doing? It's still Mom's Day, guys, so I hope everybody got phone calls, got love, got thought of, and was appreciated today in the way that they should be. So, guys, please like, subscribe, and share. I've gotten a lot more subscriptions since I've reminded you guys. Those of you that might think you're subscribed, I don't know. Half of you are on the fence is what it says on the analytics. I gotta believe the analytics. Guys, I saw, and you guys have sent me those text messages. Gypsy's text messages. If they're Gypsy's text messages, there are things that make me believe maybe they are Gypsy's text messages, because at least half of them we heard of. Half of them we know to be true. The dialogue, at least, is very true in that. I don't know why, and a few of you have been like, hey, Toddy, why didn't they mention the hacker? I don't know why they didn't mention the hacker on Lifetime. It would have been a pretty interesting story, but I don't know why. Maybe because it would give people an idea to hack again. I don't know. I know that, to me, Gypsy's such a liar. Basically, I was going to try to say a non-truthful person, but why am I going to be nice to her? She tells so many lies that who knows the truth about these text messages. Some people would say, oh, that's appalling. I would never believe somebody would do that. And then, of course, we look at Gypsy and we see the way she behaves and we say, oh, well, you know, it's Gypsy, so does it really surprise us? In the text messages, as we know, there's claim that Gypsy says that things about her mom are starting to come out and that everybody's going to know that she was the one that unalived her mom. Would Gypsy put that in writing? Well, you would usually say, absolutely not. Nobody would put something in writing, an admission of guilt in writing. But Gypsy has done so many stupid things that I wouldn't put anything past her, because she doesn't think rationally. First of all, you don't think rationally for 2 years about unaliving your mom. None of that is rational thinking per se, right? It's kind of crazy to continue on with the process of grooming somebody to to do that to your mom. So I don't know if she would be stupid enough to write something like that, but she wrote to Ryan about it was he dating Amber J and her not knowing if things were real or not. So and then when she gets caught with that, instead of just saying, yes, I wrote to him and leaving it like that, she had to expose that Ken and her were having problems. She could have just said, I was a little postpartum. Nope, she had to expose that her and Ken were having problems. She didn't have to do that. Okay, she exposed that to us. She let us know that. Why? There's a purpose to Gypsy. Why? And then she also let us know that her stepmom and her dad were on the precipice of divorce, verge of divorce, right? We didn't have to know that. She didn't have to share that with us. That was extra information. Why? So, to me, the question is, why? All she ever had to do when Ryan said, listen, when Ryan exposed that message, which he only exposed because Gypsy kept claiming that Ryan was obsessed. He had kept quiet and she kept making him feel like a jellyfish. A spineless fucktard is what she kept making him feel like. And he finally said, fuck this shit. I'm done. I'm done. And he went ahead and said, look, she asked me if I was dating Amber J at 2 o'clock in the morning. And when I didn't answer her, she said, I don't know what's real or not real. Okay, so, and his answer was, say what? So that was all he exposed. She exposed love letters from him. And she didn't even have the balls to do it. She had her minion, mindless minion, do it. Like, how would that make somebody feel if somebody did that? Like, Bree knows better, but Bree's also the same person that puts up addresses and street names and houses and shit like that. Street signs and houses. We got them. I'm going to start putting them up in my videos too. Places where people live. People in Boston, in Kentucky, people over here in Louisiana, and even, you know, people that are just related to some of those people. Because, you know, what the fuck? Everything's up for sale here, right? And thank you guys, decided, because I got a few messages and screenshots of, you know, people showing, oh, who lives here and there, and I got that now, so that's going to be fun. But seriously, let's get back on the other, that's serious, don't get me wrong. That doxing shit, serious. Irks me because there's no reason for it. There's no reason for it. Gypsy has put herself out there, put a story out there that we have challenged and she has failed telling us the truth about. Her fucking lies do not add up to sense. And the fact that people believe it, it's on them. Don't dox people because people have common sense. Guys, Gypsy, G-R-O-M-E-D, Nick. She admitted it. There's proof of it. She lied about it in the interrogation when Hancock came back in there. Detective Hancock came back in there and said, it was your idea. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't my idea. It certainly was her idea. It wasn't Nick's idea. Nick tried to talk her out of it. I want to know what the mindless minions say about that. Because there's proof of that. Yet they call Nick this horrible person. You know, this is the way Gypsy runs. And she gets, I don't know why people follow her like the Pied Piper. I did a video on that. The Pied Piper of peculiarity. I don't know what, you know, I don't know. Guys, here's what happened. Gypsy decided, like she always does, that there is going to be a CRIME scene. Disastrous. And it's going to be messy. And that's what she did to Ryan. Because Ryan stood up for himself one time. And then she turned around and she tried to expose, I don't know how much is true with Ryan, but definitely opened up a door for Ryan to be looked at critically. And, you know, if anybody knows anything about this channel, then, you know, there is nothing wrong with having some sort of problem in the past and working on a better version of yourself, which is, if it's true about Ryan, then that to me is what he's doing, and it shows. Now, people have said to me, Toddy One Skip, do you think that Gypsy's using? I think Gypsy's drinking. I think we've seen her drunk. I think her mindless minions have taken videos of her drunk in places that she shouldn't be. That's what I think. And people have said, what about Ken? Well, here's the thing about Ken, guys. If you look him up, he's had a few DUIs. I mean, that's just the truth. And the guy still drinks. You don't think that's a problem? Common sense, critical thinking. Do you not think that's a problem? A few DUIs and you're still drinking? That's a problem. That's a problem. Or is he doing anything else? Ken messes around an awful lot. And, you know, I don't know. You know. I don't think that METH, because I don't see, you know, that bit, you know what I mean? But there's a few of you that have said on the live stream in the comments that sometimes that's not the effect. I don't know. For both of them, I don't know. Gypsy should be, I've had a few of you say, don't you think she should be DRUG tested? Yeah, I think there's a lot of things Gypsy should be done, but she seems to get away with it. She goes on vacation more than anybody, whether they're on parole or not on parole. You know, she seems to be able to go to places that most parolees would not be able to go. You know, she has broken those parole violations several times by saying she still is in contact with an inmate. And we know she has, because she too has said herself, Amelia, that she has still been friends with Amelia. And we saw where Bree, her mindless minion, said, just lie to the parole officer. So if she could put that in writing, I mean, how stupid is that? You could have done it on the phone privately. This, what's really weird is the paradox here, that there's idiocy and just stupidity and thoughtlessness, and then I guess there is just a focus on what's ahead, and all this peripheral side stuff is just not anything that's being paid attention to on anybody's side with Gypsy. To me, I look at Gypsy, and she unalived her mom in the most brutal way to pull a Gone Girl Gone. And in doing that, had she have been able to do what she wanted to do, I think there would have been another victim that night. As you guys know, I think it would have been Nick. She was stuck with Nick because the other person didn't show up, or the other person just said, I don't want to be with you. Maybe reality hit her, and she realized, Dan Glidewell, who this, I think, I'm not saying Dan committed any crime, but Dan was definitely in her mind, because why did Nick mention him in the interrogation when he was in the room by himself and he was saying he'd apologize to everybody but Dan? We hear that. We know that that's said. That wasn't something manipulated or messed with at a later date, where some of the other stuff I think might have been. I don't know. Anyway, guys, Gypsy, when she starts unraveling, which she's begun, she's begun, it is more important to her to have a social media presence, because and to find something. She has clearly tried to find something that will stick, that people will not give her a hard time about. But then there's people like this when it comes to Gypsy, influencing young people. Look at these, text messages. People asking for advice. What should I do about my mom? I wish I could do what you did. I mean, and this is the stuff that's concerning. This is the stuff that Gypsy's really known for. This isn't okay. Her response to stuff isn't okay. You know what I'm saying? So, Gypsy's... Guys, it's her first mom's day as a mom. Who knows? I still think the baby is Ryan's, in my opinion. That's what I think. Not because of all this bullshit, but because I think that baby was born in November. I think the baby's Ryan's. That's my opinion. Guys, I worry for the safety of the baby when it comes to a dad that has a drinking problem, and DUIs isn't enough to make him stop. Guys, this is Issues with Taddy One Skip By. I'm Taddy One Skip By. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your day. Guys, I got a lot of the video that I used, the screenshots and stuff that I used from Alice Down the Rabbit Hole. The other screenshots I got were sent to me by you guys, so I appreciate it. Thank you so much. As always, check out Alice Down the Rabbit Hole. She's got a great channel, and she's always been really supportive of my channel as well. So, guys, show her some love, please. Yeah, and I thank you guys. I thank you so much. Be better today than you were yesterday, not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Tomorrow, it's only a day away. Thanks, guys.